Same shit that everybody else been saying since I moved to 147, I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next. Watch. So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stump a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? You gonna be just like everybody else. Watch. Watch.
Canelo versus Crawford is just around the corner, and the intensity is nowhere close to cooling off. As seen in the recent press conference, Canelo and Crawford once again exchanged verbal shots. It all began when Canelo responded to a question about the previous press conference where both men physically shoved each other.
Well, I didn't. He did before. He tried to walk me back, and I just watched my reaction. That's it. I think he don't did them because he really wanted to do. I think Turki Al-Ashi told him, you need to do something. And he did. He did. And now...
Not only that, but after the press conference, Crawford made it clear he had been laughing at Canelo's antics, saying he enjoys all this drama.
As you can see, you know, I love things like that. You know, it excites me. I'm more motivated than ever now.
Terence Crawford spoke about the last press conference when Canelo Alvarez pushed him during the face-off. He explained that the shove had not shaken him in any way and would not affect the mindset or approach he is bringing into the fight.
You know what I mean? Like, that little push didn't do nothing, as you can see. But come fight time, we're not going to be pushing, we're going to be punching, so it doesn't even matter.
Not just the previous press conference, but even this one featured a death stare type of face-off. New boxing promoter Dana White, still working under the UFC banner, had to personally step in to separate the two fighters. This is more than a war, it is an event of a lifetime, showcasing two men who have conquered multiple weight divisions, collected belts like trophies, and silenced critics at every stage, now stepping into the same ring. Canelo Alvarez reflected on his fight with Billy Joe Saunders and described how that experience fuels his drive. He recalled Saunders' actions and attitude before the bout, which angered him enough to fight with greater intensity and force in the ring. By saying this, he hinted that something similar could happen with Crawford.
Crawford. You know, so a lot of MMA fans, UFC fans may not have ever seen you fight before. They might tune in because staying in the UFC is involved. So what has it been like maybe introducing yourself to a lot of MMA fans?
Canelo Alvarez revealed he lost respect for Crawford because of certain comments Crawford made, especially when Crawford said he doesn't believe in living up to others' expectations. According to Canelo, it seemed as though Crawford had something to prove or needed to get something off his chest at the press conference.
More personal because, you know, I did respect him. I don't respect him anymore because he say, I'm not gonna do what they want me to do and this and that. And then he tried to, maybe Turki Al-Ashi told him, hey, you need to do something because you seem so nervous in Riyadh. So he tried to like he walked me back, and that's why I pushed him. And you know, like I say, don't fuck with me.
Does it bring a different Canelo then?
Yeah, it's different.
Canelo also gave a similar remark during the press conference, where in front of the media and boxing officials, he claimed openly that perhaps it was Turki's order for Crawford to walk him down, which caused chaos at the face-off. He warned that crossing him would end Crawford's career.
Before I respect his word because he say, oh, I'm not gonna let somebody to tell me what I need to do, and he did. So, but you know me. Just, I respect everybody, but if you f me, so it's gonna be different. You know.
Listen.
Hey, we know, buddy. We know.
Meanwhile, in another heated exchange between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, Crawford responded to rumors circulating in Canelo's camp, saying claims of fear were false. He stood before Canelo to show he was not afraid, making it clear he was taking control in the lead-up to the fight. Canelo, however, insisted he never spread that talk himself, pointing out that it was Crawford's uncle who did.
somebody was in the room saying that I was scared of him. So I stepped to him and showed him who was the boss of this fight. I ain't scared of shit.
Hey, I never say that. Your uncle say that, not me.
Crawford remained firm, declaring he fears no one. He promised Canelo would realize that once they share the ring, reminding everyone how in their previous press event, he did not hesitate to confront Canelo, who is naturally the bigger fighter.
Scared of shit, and you're gonna find that out. And as you seen, the last press conference,
We'll see.
when I walked you down, when you supposed to be the bigger man.
Yeah, hey, you say that because you fighting with nobody, and you obviously look like you're a great fighter. But you find out September 13th, this is gonna be different for you.
And it's gonna be different from you as well.
On one side stands Canelo Alvarez, the pride of Mexico and today's undisputed super middleweight champion. With 63 wins, 2 losses, and 39 knockouts, he has gone toe-to-toe with boxing's elite Gennady Golovkin, Miguel Cotto, Sergey Kovalev, and Caleb Plant. While hype builds from fans and fighters about the magnitude of this clash, Eddie Hearn initially downplayed the Crawford buzz. Hesitant at first, he now admits this will be a monumental night for Canelo.
Yesterday, I thought Canelo looked really well. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he's a big lump, so I was always Canelo. Then I sort of leant towards Bud, but now I'm back with Canelo. So
Canelo's an all-time great. He's an incredible fighter, and look, I actually think this is a bad fight for him because
Eddie Hearn revealed that he leans toward Canelo. Hearn then outlined a scenario of a fight that would be far from easy for either man. He admitted that Crawford, with his unique style, sharp timing, slick footwork, and constant adjustments, could easily turn the ring into a chessboard on which Canelo would be forced to play catch-up.
he'll engage a lot more than Skull, but he will be looking to do all the things where people have had success, which is use movement. Look at what Bivol did. Bivol had the perfect game plan. He boxed off the back foot, then he attacked, then he moved, then he, all that kind of stuff. And then Crawford will be looking to do exactly the same.
Hearn further noted that Crawford views this bout as more than just another title or a massive payday. For him, it is an ultimate mission. According to Hearn, Crawford sees it as his chance to move beyond being labeled only a technical genius and to enter the realm of greatness. The kind of greatness that belongs in the sports history books. In Hearn's opinion, Crawford is not chasing clout. He is chasing legacy.
That's probably quite personal to him, to prove himself as a great. And there is no doubt that if he wins this fight, he's a great, he's a pound for pound tremendous fighter, but
he also had to address the elephant in the room, the size difference. Crawford has been a natural welterweight at 147 pounds, staring up at the champion who has reigned at 168 for years. Even though the weight gap is undeniable, Crawford continued to call out Canelo's name. Interestingly, Canelo never closed the door. Instead, he kept it open, saying that if the business aligned properly, he would take the fight seriously.
Devon, obviously 154 now, but the money's the money, and he was never going to turn it down.
Canelo has fought and beaten champions across 4 weight divisions, rising from a teenage prospect to one of boxing's biggest modern pay-per-view stars. He built an empire in and out of the ring with sharp counterpunching, a granite chin, and body shots that wear opponents down. At the press conference, he appeared calmer and more composed than Bud. He shared his thoughts on working with Dana White and the organizing team for this major blockbuster. Canelo said he does not view UFC and boxing as rivals, but instead welcomed the cooperation, praising White and the UFC fighters. He remarked, "You make us look like we are competing, but I know I'm not. I always liked Dana White. I respect all the UFC fighters, and I think together we can do big things." He added he was glad to work with Dana, Netflix, and everyone else involved. Meanwhile, Crawford represents something new for the sport, and now it's time to see how his latest version unfolds. Antonio Tarver spoke passionately about Crawford's mentality, saying he carries a rare energy that sets the great apart from the rest. Tarver compared it to the fearless, commanding presence legendary athletes possess, a mindset that erases doubt and never sees an opponent as a threat.
I've been telling y'all for the longest, that boy got that energy. And you know what energy I'm talking about? What is that? Tarver energy. Yes, sir.
Tarver.
He got that. And so you know, when you get that, we don't see nobody, bro.
Tarver then turned his focus to Canelo Alvarez, offering a more critical view. He recognized Canelo's durability but pointed out that the Mexican superstar hasn't faced a truly difficult challenge in some time, and that his movement inside the ring has looked less sharp lately. Tarver warned that comfort is dangerous, it can cause even elite fighters to ease off the gas.
He in there with a dog, Canelo. Now, the Canelo footwork ain't been what it's supposed to be lately. And he hasn't a real threat in a long time. Now, sometimes we can get so comfortable in that zone. But now you got to go down deep to get ready for Crawford. Crawford,
Everyone knows by now that Crawford is a technician with a 41-0 record in 30 knockouts, a switch-hitting puzzle no opponent has yet solved. Since moving up to 140, he has been unchallenged, then went on to dominate the 147 division by dismantling Errol Spence Jr. in a performance that shocked the entire boxing world. More recently, he won a world title at 154 pounds. In a bold move, he is now stepping up again to face the most formidable man at 168. Rarely have we seen ambition like this. Seldom have we seen anyone capable of pulling it off. Frank Martin weighed in on the contrast between William Skull's approach and Crawford's approach against Canelo Alvarez. After Canelo's last fight, Skull leaned toward a more evasive style, which Martin thought was overly defensive. But Martin does not expect Crawford to adopt that strategy.
I don't think Terence gonna run from Canelo as much as that guy did. I feel like he gonna box for sure, but he gonna sit down on some shots. He gonna fight in spurts against Canelo, I feel.
In Martin's view, Crawford may be outmatched in size against Canelo but will still carry advantages such as speed that allow him to compete effectively. Martin further explained that it is entirely possible for Crawford to beat Canelo, since being the smaller man also means being faster.
Fast. Sometimes, man, like, just because a guy bigger, it don't always mean, like, he can crack, but it's like Terence he gonna be the faster, he gonna be the quicker fighter, the more explosive fighter too, I feel like.
By highlighting the disadvantages smaller fighters usually face against bigger ones, he seamlessly argued how quick, lighter opponents can hold an advantage over taller, heavier rivals. His reasoning showed why speed deserves respect, especially when the contest is evenly matched or fiercely contested against pure physical strength.
Man, don't mean nothing. A lot of times them guys be slower.
Yeah.
When a smaller guy come up to a higher weight, you just can't get hit by the bigger guy, especially if he a puncher. But a lot of times the smaller guy have an advantage, I feel like, because they quicker.
This is a fight that could redefine greatness for Crawford. If he defeats Canelo, a naturally bigger man who has proven his versatility against all styles, he would become the first male fighter in the four-belt era to be undisputed in 3 weight divisions. It has never been done, not by Mayweather, not by Pacquiao, not by Roy Jones Jr. That would be history written in bold capital letters. Rallying against Canelo Alvarez are some of his past opponents, including Floyd Mayweather Jr., still active as a voice in boxing. Mayweather is the man who dealt Canelo one of his worst defeats back in 2013. A younger Canelo wasn't just beaten, he was dominated in masterful fashion.
You can take a guy like Canelo, this guy can do, he can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Y'all always disrespecting our fighters.
The weight difference may influence the fight, but in terms of physical advantages, both stand on nearly equal ground. That is why both camps carry such confidence. Trainer Brian "Bomac" McIntyre mirrored his fighter's energy not with fire but with quiet certainty. His words weren't filled with bravado or trash talk, but with the calm assurance of someone who knows exactly what his fighter can do. He made it clear their strategy would remain hidden, but the outcome was already set in his mind. Bomac was not concerned with cameras or hype. His focus stayed on preparation, discipline, and the trust built over years in the trenches. All of it, he believes, will bring victory. He said, "We're just going to get out there and win. Do whatever we need to do to win." I ain't going to give out the game plan or nothing like that. But what everybody thinks, I just know we're going to win. In fact, Crawford's knockout rate stands at 73%, higher than Canelo's 63.9%, which is even more impressive given that Crawford fought most of his career in lighter divisions. Still, rivals remain rivals, as Oscar de la Hoya has openly criticized the fight, the promoters, and even the dinner Canelo and Crawford attended with Turki Al-Sheikh.
The ridiculous promotion of Canelo Crawford has given me lots of good ammunition. Woo, first, let's take it back to last week when this photo was taken of Canelo and Crawford having dinner together. Like they're best friends.
I love you, man.
Their bodies, like they were family friends.
Oscar de la Hoya grew heated when discussing the fight, criticizing the overly polished, friendly tone between fighters that he believes has taken the bite out of boxing. De la Hoya argued that fans don't show up for mutual admiration. They come for fire, tension, and the raw edge that makes a fight feel like war waiting to erupt. He compared today's pre-fight build-up to the rivalries of past legends, saying that the intensity of matchups like Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier or Mike Tyson versus Mitch Green would never have worked if those fighters had been casually seen dining together before.
Can you imagine Muhammad Ali or like Joe Frazier having dinner together? What? Can you imagine Mike Tyson and Mitch Green before a brawl? What the f? No boxing fan wants to see two fighters having dinner together.
We could have a dinner on Wednesday.
He then doubled down. In his view, the true attraction of boxing lies in the build-up, the tension and emotional stakes that make every round feel like life or death. When the promotional narrative feels staged or too polished, it loses its spark. What the audience wants is bad blood.
We want anticipation. We want to feel like an actual war is about to happen. Not caviar and champagne together while they're staging their trilogy. Jesus Christ.
Oscar added a personal jab, advising Bud to bring up the controversy surrounding Canelo's failed drug test linked to tainted meat, a scandal that has haunted Canelo for years. It was a calculated suggestion from De La Hoya, meant to create real heat and shift the tone of the promotion. He mocked, saying, "I mean, come on. Anybody else not buying this? Nobody got time for this. Crawford, if you really want to make Canelo mad, just tell the truth about him and his tainted meats." But this isn't all about numbers or records, it's about legacy. Crawford enters the fight already a two-time undisputed champion. He has nothing left to prove, yet he craves the kind of challenge that could elevate him to immortality. Canelo, having ruled for so long, knows he can only maintain his throne by defeating the man many believe is destined to take it. British journalist Gareth A. Davies weighed in with a stark reminder of what Crawford is walking into. In an unfiltered take, he made clear what this battle could become.
Fight for both men. Canelo always looks for the knockout, as he says. He will be planting his feet. And as I said to Terence, are you prepared to be hit harder than you've ever been hit before? Obviously he doesn't want to be hit, but Canelo will hit him harder than anyone he's probably been in against.
Davies put it bluntly. Canelo isn't coming to box cute. He's coming to hurt. He fights flat-footed, plants his feet, and hunts for the knockout like a man on a mission. And Crawford? He's never taken shots like the ones Canelo will unleash. That's the test, not just of skill, but of toughness, willpower, and sheer durability. This isn't going to be a chess match. It's going to be a war where every clean punch can change everything. Davies asked the chilling question, is Crawford truly ready for that level of fire?
Spence hits hard, but it wasn't the same Errol Spence that he fought. And he's up against one of the all-time greats of Mexican boxing on September the 13th at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. It's a really big fight for him. It's a legacy fight because his resume isn't anything like Saul Canelo Alvarez's legacy.
Errol Spence hits hard, but it wasn't the same Spence that Crawford fought. Now he faces one of the all-time greats of Mexican boxing on September 13th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. It's a huge event for him, a legacy fight, because his resume does not yet compare to the career legacy of Saul Canelo Alvarez. The heat, the drama, and the anticipation already show this is no ordinary bout. It's a clash of pride, legacy, and raw emotion. With every press conference, every soundbite, and every stare down, the intensity grows. Whether it's respect or rivalry, calm tactics or full-blown hostility, one thing is certain: when Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford finally enter that ring, the world will be watching to see who leaves with history on their side. If you felt the intensity in this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more fight coverage, and share your prediction in the comments. Is Crawford really inside Canelo's head, or will the Mexican superstar silence every doubt once again? Let us know, and stay tuned, the fight is only getting bigger. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Knockout Voyage for more amazing boxing content. Stay tuned for the next big fight.